So we have now gone through finding the area and the perimeter of regular shapes, meaning just a rectangle or triangle or circle or trapezoid or so on. What we're going to do now is we're going to look at how to find the area and the perimeter of irregular shapes. And the easiest way to do this is when you see an irregular shape like the one below, is to break it into shapes that you do know when you're finding the area. So if you take a look at this picture here, this is a very irregular shape. Now, if you take a look here, you can see that what we've done is we've made this into two rectangles, 1, 2, and then we have one triangle. Well, we know how to find the area of a rectangle, and we know how to find the area of a triangle. So that's what this work is over here doing. We find the area of the first rectangle by doing 7 times 4, length times width, and we get 28. Then we find the area of the next triangle, which is 10 times 4, again, length times width, and we get 40. Then we find the area of the triangle, 1/2 base times height, which in this case would be 1/2 times 8 times 3, which is going to be 12. Last thing is we add them all together. So that is the best way to find the area of irregular shapes, is to break them into shapes you do know how to find the area of and add them all together. For perimeter, we're going to do the exact same thing. For this example, we couldn't actually find the perimeter of it because we don't know this side right here. If I were just to give it a number, maybe give it the number of 10, to find the perimeter of it, you should start in a corner and add all the way around the shape, all the numbers together. So let's examples here. We're going to find the perimeter and the area of this irregular shape, and notice it's giving me to use 3 for pi. So when you look at this irregular shape, what are the two shapes you see that we could find the perimeter or the area of? Good. I'm hoping what you see here is a half circle. Oh, half circle. And a rectangle. Those should be the two that you see. Let's go ahead and start by doing the perimeter first. So to find the perimeter, what I need to figure out is I need to figure out the distance here, and then I'm going to add this side plus this side and this side to that. Well, obviously the 10 plus the 14 plus the 10, that's very easy to find. What's going to be a little bit harder is finding this portion around this. Well, we know how to find circumference. Remember, circumference is the area or the distance around a circle. Well, I only want half of it. So how would I find half? That's right. We're going to find the circumference and we're going to divide it by 2 or take half of it. So to find circumference, we do pi times diameter, and the reason I'm doing diameter is because that's what this distance is right here. That's what they gave me. So I get to use 3 for pi, and I'm going to multiply that times 14. Well, 3 times 14 is 42. That would be the circumference of the entire circle. What I want to do now is to divide it by 2. So when I divide that by 2, 42 divided by 2 is 21. Guys, that is this distance right here, all the way around. It's half of a circle, half of the circumference. Now I'm going to add 10 plus 14 plus 10 to that number. Which equals 55. So 55 millimeters is the full perimeter of that shape. Notice I did not add this side right here. And the reason why I did not add this 14 to this is, remember, perimeter means the distance around the shape. So that's what I was looking for there, is the distance around the shape. All right, let's go ahead and now try to do the area. Just do the area in this box right here. All right, so again, I'm doing the area of a half circle and a rectangle. Doesn't matter which one I do first, I'm going to go ahead and just work on the circle. To find the area of a circle, we do pi times radius squared, plus the area of a rectangle is the length times the width. All right, let's go ahead and substitute. So pi is 3 in this case. The radius of the circle would be 7 squared. And then the rectangle portion, the length and the width is that 14 times the 10. All right, so I need to square 7 first. 7 squared is 49. And I can go ahead and do 14 times 10, which is 140. Now we need to multiply 3 times 49, which is 147. You can always go over to the side and take care of that. Oh, so I've got my 140. Now, let's take a look at what these two numbers are. The 147 is the area of an entire circle, okay? What I need to do is I need to take half of that, or divide that number by 2. The 140 is the area of a rectangle, which I don't need to do anything to because I do have I just have a regular rectangle. So when I divide 147 by 2, I end up with 73.5. Everybody, I hope you understand why I'm dividing it by 2. It's because this is a half circle. Now, all I need to do is to go ahead and add 140 to 73.5, and you end up with 213.5 millimeters squared. So there is the area. Let's try another one. We're going to find the perimeter and the area of this shape here. Let's go ahead and start with the perimeter. Guys, the easiest way I think to find perimeter is by starting in a corner and take your pencil, go around the shape, and add as you go. Okay? So I'm going to just start right here. This would be 3 plus 3, which is 6. So I've got 6 right there. I also have right here 3 plus 3, which is 6, and plus another 6, which is 12. I have this side here, which is 11, and then I also have this side with it, which is another 6, so 17. So the one side I do not have is this portion right here in blue. Well, the reason I don't have that down yet is because I need to figure out what that number is. If this whole thing is 11, and this is 3, and this is 3, that adds up to 6. That means this side must be 5. So I need to add 5 to that number. When I add all that up together, I end up with 40 centimeters. Notice I went ahead and marked on it so I knew which sides I had already added and which sides I still needed to add. Now it's time for us to find the area of these two shapes. Or I'm sorry, there's actually going to be more than 3 shapes. Now, guys, whenever you look at this, there's a lot of different ways you can break this apart. So if you don't see the exact same way I do it, that's absolutely okay. What I see here is I've got 3 rectangles. If I were to draw a line right here, let me do it in black. If I were to draw a line right here, I would have this rectangle, and then draw a similar one right down here. I would have this rectangle, and then lastly I would have this rectangle. So I'm going to find the area of 3 rectangles and add them together. And to find the area of a rectangle, it's length times width for all 3 of them. So this first one, area, length times width, which in this case would be 3 times 6, which is 18. Okay, I'm going to do it again. Now for the middle one. Now remember, this side is 5, so we need to figure out what this side is here. Well, if this whole side is 6 and this is 3, that means this is also 3. So I've got 3 times 5, which is going to be 15. And then I have the area one more time of this rectangle down at the bottom, which is identical to 3 times 6, which is 18. Now I just need to add all these together. So that would be 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 51 centimeters squared. And we've got one more example, and this time we're just going to find the area of this shape. So again, there's a lot of different ways you can break this up. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually extend this line all the way across, and what I see here is that I have a triangle and a rectangle that I need to find. Alright, so let's start with the triangle. Well, to find the area of a triangle, our formula is 1/2 base times height. And to find the area of a rectangle, we do length times width. Luckily on this one, there's no halves or anything like that we have to worry about. We just get to use our formula straightforward. And again, just like we did before, always use your formula chart. So let's start with the triangle. I'm going to go ahead and put my 1/2 there. The base is going to actually be that blue line that I did just there. Now, that is not the 8 centimeters. We're going to actually have to find this number. For our rectangle, if this whole side is 12, and this is 3 and 3, that leaves 6 left over. The 6 is going to be the base of that triangle. The height, we're going to do basically the same thing. The height, this whole thing here is 8, and then this would be 4, leaving my height of my triangle also 4. So I'm going to do 1/2 times 6 times 4. I'm going to add that to my length and width of my rectangle. So my length of my rectangle is 12, and my width of my rectangle is 4. All right, so let's do some multiplying. So 1/2 of 6 is 3, and 3 times 4 is 12. So the area of your triangle is 12, plus 12 times 4, which is 48. And 12 plus 48 equals 60 centimeters squared. So hopefully this helped, trying to find the shapes you do know how to find the area of or the perimeter of, and then adding them together. And remember guys, for perimeter, I really do suggest just going around the shape with your pencil, writing down all the numbers you do know, and adding them together. Good luck.